Hey, welcome back, and in this video we're going to be learning about false eyes and dual life. To continue our conversation on life and death, let's imagine we have this shape. White here has surrounded 4 points of territory. When you have a line of 4 points of territory, white is not required to take another turn in separating those points. The reason is that if black were to come in and attack one of these territories and in trying to put white in Atari, let's say black plays here, white would simply have to block that at number 2. By doing that, black can no longer play either below 1 or above 2 because it would not be a legal move. And so white has now a live shape and black cannot do anything to capture it. But white was not required to separate the territories immediately. Let's now talk about false eyes. False eyes suggests that you have a shape that looks like it has eyes, but in reality it does not. They are false and they can still be captured. Let's look at this shape. Let's say 1 were to go here. By putting a white stone there, the 3 bottom stones are put in Atari by white. Black is forced to play here to protect his stones and connect. But by doing that, black has only 1 point left and is completely surrounded. 1 point is not enough to have a live group. You need at least 2. So white will then come and take this whole lot by playing at 3. If 2 had not played there, if 2 had been played somewhere else, white could then have captured there. And then still, black could not do anything, and so white would have captured there. So the idea of a false eye is, again, a shape that looks like it has 2 eyes or more, but in reality can still be captured. And so this group would have been called dead from the beginning because there's nothing it can do to avoid being captured. Here's another example of a false eye. The stone marked A is actually an Atari by white, and if black were to move there, say if black were to actually move there, then now the whole group is an Atari and white needs just capture at 2. If white were to capture A, black would not be able to do anything or move somewhere else, and then white would capture the rest of the stones later on. So from the beginning, we see that black has a false eye at the top, and so this group is dead from the beginning. Here we have 2 groups. One is alive, one is dead. The one on the left has 2 territories separated by 1 black stone. It is 2 well-formed eyes. However, on the right, we have one of the eyes being a false eye. The false eye is the one on the bottom, because if white were to play here, then black would either have to play here, in which case 2 just added to his loss because white would just play at 3 and capture even more stones, or not play there at all. Say it played somewhere else. In that case, white would then capture that, and if black did nothing again, white would capture all of those. Now, it's not necessary for white to actually go in and try to capture this first one. At this point, black should be able to realize that there's nothing that it can do in that corner, and white would know that black knows it can't do anything. So you would just leave it like that. Black would leave those to be taken up later at the end of the game as prisoners for white. So now we come to another form of life. It's a special kind of life that groups can get without having those 2 necessary eyes that we've been talking about. Here, This special form of life is called dual life. Because if black moves first, then black will end up losing. If white moves first, white will end up losing. And so neither side moves, and so we have this special form of life. Here's an example. If black were to play here, then those 3 white stones on the left are in Atari. However, white could just simply move at 2 and capture those black stones that had put it in Atari. The same thing would have happened if white were to have moved first and put black in Atari like that. In that case, black can now move and capture all those stones on the left. Therefore, neither side can move to try to capture the other. Each side has live groups because neither of them can do anything. The Japanese term for this sort of life is called seki. If you're Korean, yes, that's actually the Japanese term. In Korean, it's peak. So, maybe avoid that if you're Korean, but that is the common term used in the Go world to describe this form of life.